Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the biggest challenges facing farmers and ecosystems worldwide, the unstoppable spread of wild boars. These invasive animals aren't just a nuisance. They tear up fields, destroy valuable crops, and throw entire ecosystems off balance. But what happens when a farmer decides to fight back? In this episode, we follow one man's relentless battle against these destructive invaders. We explore his story and the real-world stakes involved. What are the most effective strategies to control wild boar populations? Is there actually a way to turn the tide against this growing problem? Stick around to find out. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Imagine waking up at dawn to find your Texas cornfield looking like a war zone. Overnight, a herd of feral hogs had swept through under cover of darkness, rooting up rows with their powerful snouts and tusks, trampling stalks flat, and devouring or destroying huge swaths of what you'd spent months nurturing. Thousands of dollars in hard-earned crops, gone in hours. This isn't some rare bad luck. It's a recurring nightmare for farmers across the South and beyond. Feral hogs, an invasive species that's exploded in numbers, have become one of the biggest threats to American agriculture. These tough, smart animals breed fast, adapt to almost any terrain, and charge ahead with little fear of humans or barriers. Stopping them isn't easy. It's an ongoing battle to save farmland from an enemy that just keeps coming. A devastating foraging machine, how feral hogs wipe out fields. Armed with an incredible sense of smell that lets them sniff out buried roots, seeds, and tubers from deep underground, feral hogs are nature's ultimate destroyers when they hit farmland. They rarely show up solo. Entire family groups, called sounders, roll in at night. Big boars leading the charge, sows, and playful piglets right behind. Their razor-sharp tusks plow through soil like living excavators, ripping up corn plants, peanuts, soybeans, and more. But the real kicker, they wreck way more than they actually eat. Rooting turns fertile ground into churned-up mud pits, trampling flattened standing crops, and wallowing creates ruts that wreck machinery and invite weeds. In Texas alone, these invaders rack up hundreds of millions in annual losses, hitting everything from row crops to pastures and irrigation lines. With no real natural checks on their booming population, feral hogs turn productive fields into scarred battlegrounds. The question every affected farmer faces is the same. How do you protect your land from a relentless, ever-growing force that strikes without warning? For farmers, planting a crop is more than just putting seeds in the ground. It's pouring time, money, and hope into next year's harvest. But when feral hogs show up, that hard work turns into a heartbreaking loss almost overnight. These invasive beasts don't simply graze. They obliterate fields. A single nighttime raid can uproot young plants before they have a chance to establish roots, churn rich soil into a muddy mess with their sharp hooves, and tear up irrigation lines that are crucial for keeping everything alive. The damage goes far beyond what's eaten. It's total devastation. Many farmers watch tens of thousands of dollars vanish in a matter of hours, forcing them to scramble for new strategies just to stay in business. The fight to protect their land has become a constant, exhausting battle against an enemy that keeps coming back stronger. To feral hogs, a lush cornfield is basically an endless, all-you-can-eat buffet packed with high-energy calories that fuel their explosive breeding and growth. Once they discover one, they move in aggressively and methodically. Using their strong snouts and razor-sharp tusks, they plow through stalks, knocking down whole rows in a single feeding frenzy. What sets them apart from deer or other wildlife is their sheer wastefulness. They uproot, trample, and destroy far more than they actually consume, turning productive ground into scarred, useless patches of dirt. Farmers often step out at first light to find months of careful planning and labor reduced to rubble, flattened plants, exposed roots, and deep ruts that make it tough to even drive equipment through. It's not just a meal for the hogs. It's a full-scale assault on the farm. The damage from feral hogs goes way beyond ruined fields and missing harvests. It's hitting farmers and rural communities hard in the wallet. Across the U.S., these invasive pests rack up an estimated $1.50 to $2.50 billion in annual losses, with recent reports putting the figure around $1.6 billion or more for agriculture alone, and the total climbing as their numbers keep exploding. It's not just crops getting wiped out. Hogs tear up fences, wreck roads and irrigation setups, wallow in pastures, turning them into mud pits, and contaminate water sources with runoff and bacteria. They also spread diseases that can hammer livestock, leading to vet bills, lower production, and even herd losses. Government agencies at the state and federal levels are fighting back with everything from massive trapping campaigns to drone surveillance and targeted hunts, but these tough, smart animals just keep spreading into new territory, making them one of the toughest invasive species we've ever tried to control. Hunting feral hogs, the frontline fight to rein them in. When fences, repellents, and other tricks fall short and the bills keep piling up, hunting steps up as one of the go-to weapons against feral hogs. In Texas, home to roughly 2.6 million of these invaders, outnumbered control efforts in most counties, it's turned into a full-time military operation. Forget strict seasons or bad months. Many spots, there are none. Hunters go at it year-round with everything from ground stock to helicopter shoots that let teams cook huge ground fast and take out dozens of them. These tactics do knock down numbers and buy some breathing room for farmers and ranchers, but they're no magic fix. Feral hogs breed like crazy. Populations can grow 18 to 21% a year, even with heavy pressure. So hunters are basically running to stay in place. The real question on everyone's mind is straight-up hunting enough to hold the line, or do we need a bigger playbook, combining traps, better tech, habitat tweaks, and maybe even new tools to finally turn the tide before these hogs overrun even more ground? When the sun drops below the horizon in rural Texas, the fight against feral hogs kicks into high gear. These clever invaders know the darkness works in their favor. They slip out to raid fields when it's toughest for people to spot them. That's exactly when dedicated hunters and farmers gear up for night hunts, turning the tables on the enemy. Equipped with cutting-edge thermal scopes, night vision optics, and plenty of hard-earned know-how, they head into the fields under cover of night, right when the hogs are most active and vulnerable. But don't mistake this for a casual outing. Feral hogs are sharp, lightning quick, and quick learners. If you miss your shot or spook the group, that whole sounder bolts and gets smarter about dodging the next setup. It takes real patience, smart tactics, and a solid grasp of how these animals think and move to pull it off successfully. Night hunting isn't beginner territory. It's a high-stakes game that demands focus and skill. The feral hog problem isn't going anywhere fast, and we can't afford to slow down either. Safeguarding your farm, native wildlife, water sources, and rural way of life means staying one step ahead with smart, aggressive strategies. Advanced traps that target entire family groups, coordinated large-scale hunts, drone scouting, and thermal tech are all in play. But are we doing enough to make a real dent? How do we keep pushing population control without tipping into overkill on conservation? And what fresh ideas or tools might finally shift the momentum in this never-ending showdown? This fight matters to all of us who care about the land. Jump in the comments below, share your stories from the field, what's worked for you, or what you think we should try next. Like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update on beating back this invasive threat.